Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for our deciding Game 3, our last Dota 2 Super League match of the evening. It's going to be RisingStars versus Rattlesnakes. In Game 1, we saw RisingStars jump out to a quick and decisive stomping victory over Rattlesnake. In Game 2, went the other way. Another very one-sided affair. Gods, now time for Game 3.
Time for Game 3. Moving in, we're sort of saying Rattlesnake should be the favorites coming in. They dropped Game 1, though, and here they are. They need to win this series. They're already 0-1 in the Dota 2 Super League after a loss to LG International. A loss here could spell elimination for them, depending on how their remaining matches go. So they're looking to bounce back. We'll jump ourselves into the draft, and once again, the big thing is here, Visage. New top pick.
Apparently he is, and he's winning a lot of games. He won the last game as well, I believe.
Yep.
So that puts him, it puts him maybe at something like 20-6 over the last couple of games and over the last week or two of play. That is an insane pick rate. The one thing that's interesting about Visage is, as well as he's been doing, people are just not banning him. I think we've maybe seen 2 or 3 bans, but you compare that to heroes like Wisp, who are winning a lot of games, and Lifestealer, they always get banned.
Yeah, well, I think actually Wisp, his win rate wasn't as impressive as it was made out to be, partly because RisingStars were picking him against some top teams and losing, but Lifestealer in the qualifiers was 5-0, or I think by the end 6-0.
100% win rate, not so bad.
Yeah, not too bad. Once again, it's an Alchemist as well. Alchemist, I think 100% win rate as well. He won last game, he won the game before that. Now, or no, vice versa. I'm confused.
Alchemist last game did in fact win. He was farming. Had a bit of a slow start, but
Game 1, RisingStars won. So Alchemist and Visage, both 100% win rate so far. This time, one of them will lose.
Well, yeah, somebody's got to lose this game. And speaking of Lifestealer, I do want to mention, for anyone who hasn't heard, he got a bit of a nerf as of late. Open Wounds no longer dominant at level 1. The range scales now, and it's got a very low range at the early levels. So perhaps we'll see Lifestealer start to kind of settle into a more balanced position in the drafts. But that's in 6.78, won't be for a little bit.
Yeah, not for some time. RisingStars, they've got 2 more picks coming their way. They won't have the Alchemist. Maybe we'll start looking towards the Kunkka that they like to play quite a bit. Well, that the Chinese teams have been definitely favoring over the recent times. Or we even see them pick up one of the junglers here, because last time round, both Chen and Enchantress were banned in the second ban stage. So if they want a jungler, I feel like they need to pick it up here in the first stage.
Of course, there is Lone Druid. If they want to go Lone Druid, Dragon Knight, that would be a very strong pushing composition. They'll go Dragon Knight. They'll follow it up with Queen of Pain. So they get a dual core lineup to start things off, a decent, serviceable solo mid in the Dragon Knight, and Queen of Pain. Here they can do decently against Clockwork or Darkseer. Clockwork for Rattlesnake, and is this where they go dual lanes?
This is much more like your classic Rattlesnake. This is when I first started watching them, they were doing this kind of draft. There would be a dual lane with something like a Darkseer, Clockwork, Alchemist as a solo mid. Then they'll get some safe lane, which will be a standard support, your Rubik, your Shadow Demon, your Keeper of the Light with your Gyrocopter or whatever it may be. Some kind of a carry here for Icy. So I think we're going back that direction.
Chat is cracking me up right now. We do know one thing. RS is going to take Game 3, and I put a lot of money on that one. Not sure what the odds will be, but hey, there you go. So
I think it's pretty good, LD.
Yeah,
RS
pretty
RS looking good.
Speaking of RS looking good on camera as well, relaxed and just going to chill through the draft. Not too much communication, and that's one thing I always just find interesting as observers. Some teams, they talk a lot. They all gather around the draft, or they're very animated.
Yeah.
So other teams like Rattlesnake just kind of sit back, let the draft do his thing, and just they're in their own little worlds.
Yeah, they really actually just chill. I mean, you can see each player just looking at their own screen, just like, well, we got this, no problem. But Rattlesnake, we'll see if they have in fact got this. This is an important match, and well, RisingStars found the Keeper of the Light, a hero picked up in both the first 2 games by Rattlesnake. They lost the first, they won the second, and they do need some supports here. They've got their dual lane, they've got, well, I guess a solo mid in the Alchemist. He can be played as a safe lane farmer, but to me, most likely it's just solo mid Alchemist. If anything, just banning out heroes like Rubik, Keeper of the Light is going to be a smart way to play this.
We've seen Alchemist can just flat out beat Dragon Knight mid. Despite having the low base armor, not the best damage, Acid Spray spam is just really powerful. So they put him mid. That frees them up to run the dual lane Darkseer Clockwork. They can run a safe lane dual lane. They can maybe run just a standard off lane Clock or a jungle Darkseer. We'll see exactly how they want to play this one. Lots of options for Rattlesnake. Don't have the carry yet. And, well, I mean, maybe they have the carry in the Alch, but if it goes mid, then they don't really have their big damage dealer. And I guess that's my question is, do they go 4-core here? We've seen Rattlesnake at times, and I think they actually have a good win rate with it. Not afraid just to pick 4 heroes that need a lot of levels and farm and say, we'll outmaneuver you, and we'll pull ahead late game.
Yeah, to me, it seems to be where they've had some of their most success, so maybe they go back for it here. The main key thing is to not pick a very greedy fourth core hero, which is going to be that a safe lane hero who doesn't need a ton of farm. Gyrocopter is somewhat farm heavy, but I feel you can also make do with basic items, a Drum of Endurance, a fast BKB, and then you have the damage sources coming elsewhere as well.
RisingStars, if this was any other team who had these 3 heroes, you'd ban 3 supports. But
Yeah.
when it's Rattlesnake, or maybe Dignitas you wouldn't. That would be sort of your other team from the West that likes to be a bit greedy. But RisingStars, they'll ban a Magnus out here, which frankly I don't think Rattlesnake would have gone for, but I do agree with this idea that they'll go for another hero that benefits from farm. So that I like. Magban, just not a hero Rattlesnake really plays.
Yeah, I definitely agree that. The one time they played it was when they had that safe lane mag, I think against LGD.
Yeah.
In that grand finals series in the TI3 Eastern qualifiers, and it was not very impressive.
Profit from RisingStars gets removed from the pool, and well, what is their third hero, their third farmer going to be? Visage can be the tri-lane farmer. Generally, though, we've seen him played as a support. He just does so much with minimal farm that giving him the farm sometimes feels a bit wasteful. Rattlesnake, they'll ban a Chaos Knight. I guess he's a decent tri-lane option, but without Wisp, it's just not something that teams really turn to.
Yeah, I think this is somewhere where Rattlesnake is starting to expect maybe an offensive tri-lane. You've got a DK Queen of Pain as your 2 solos. Neither of them can go to the off lane. So essentially, DK will be mid, Queen of Pain in the safe lane. It's something. That's really the problems with these first 3 picks for RisingStars. They've more or less given away their lanes, given away the fact that they're very likely to go offensive tri-lane, which is where you see Rubik, Juggernaut, CK Band, all good offensive tri-lane heroes. RisingStars now going to have to go somewhere else.
And I feel Rattlesnake can dominate mid and the off lane. Darkseer 1v1 versus Queen of Pain will break even. If Clockwork's maybe there and you force out a Queen of Pain Blink, you surge in the Clock, Trapper and Cogs, Battery Assault, Iron Shell, you can kill Queen of Pain safe lane. So I look at Rattlesnake, and then Alchemist versus Dragon Knight mid can be an even lane, but definitely something Alchemist has won in the past. So potentially they win those 2 lanes heavily, and then RisingStars, a lot of pressure on their tri-lane. But we'll see where they go from here.
Yeah, the one thing I may be considering, Rattlesnake may be considering not going with their classic dual lane just because of the tri-lane coming out. The Darkseer Clockwork dual lane is nice, but you can't really kill or beat the Queen of Pain. I don't see it dominating that lane.
You can, but only if she makes a mistake.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that happens. RisingStars, well, they've gotten Alina now. They still need that tri-lane hero. What is it going to be? They don't really have a great setup at this point. Alchemist already picked up. What do you go for here?
Weaver?
Well,
Okay.
Rattlesnake go for Weaver, so they
There's
get their
your
4th core. There you
Yeah.
go.
A hero who, if you're going to have a dual lane versus a tri-lane, can do okay. He's hard to kill, hard to lock down. You've got Lina Visage. Lina Light Strike Array is a stun, but it's not really an instant direct disable for Weaver, so it's something which is going to be not easy to land unless you get a setup which is going to be the Sven, so there's your offensive tri-lane, Sven, Lina, Visage.
Now, of course, Stormbolt, it's not going to hit you if you're invis. It won't hit you there unless you're stunning a creep next to the Weaver or something like that. So they'll have to buy early sentries or dust here if they up against the Weaver, which I imagine they will be. And I mean, it's a hard lane to kill. Sure, you've got the stun combo. Stormbolt, very mana intensive. There's no Keeper of the Light to fuel the spam. So if they miss that first Stormbolt or 2, could be a lane where they struggle to actually find kills. That being said, they do just have a lot of harassment from Lina, from Visage, from long range. But I feel for Rattlesnake that if they play this right, they can come out really far ahead through the laning stage.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And something they can even consider is keeping the Clockwork as a support, but even in the safe lane. If you can get an early cog mana burn on Sven, it can completely cripple him. He's so mana dependent to get that Stormbolt off. One, if you get a second cogs, his mana's gone.
And how many clarities can you really buy? You have to buy observers, you'll have to buy sentries because you're running an aggressive tri-lane. So I really like that idea as well. And the other nice thing is Darkseer doesn't need the help. Can lane 1v1 versus the Queen of Pain. Alk can go mid, and whoever this third support is just needs to sit back and not die. That's basically their only job. I feel Rattlesnake should be able to at least break even bottom, possibly win mid, break even there at worst, and in the tri-lane, they'll benefit more from the levels. So I think their draft, if they execute it correctly, has more potential than RisingStars.
Silencer last pick. This is like just your Rattlesnake classic draft, something which hardly any other team would pull out, but they bring out the Silencer. I think if anything, they almost need to run Clockwork in the safe lane as a safe lane tri-lane hero, just because Sven, Lina, Visage can whip out some serious damage, and with a Sentry on the ground, Weaver, sure he's great at sort of escaping, may not be able to do so.
This is the Mana Burn tri-lane. Now we've got the Silencer, Curse of the Silent if Sagam wants to opt for it, as well as the Cogs. But for the time being, they'll send Kabu towards the bottom lane. Let's see where Rattlesnake go. They desperately need this Game 3. Otherwise, they'll be 0-2 in Group B of the Dota 2 Super League, and that's going to be a tall order to bounce back from there, because DK and Orange, 2 of the strongest teams in the group, at least on paper, are waiting for them. Lamb, he'll be playing the Darkseer. Had some big plays on the Clockwork, but this time around, the clock will go to Kabu. He'll be playing, by far, his signature hero, the hero he's had the most success with. Luo, going to be playing that solo mid Alchemist, rushing the bottle, has been pulled a single set of tangos. And then a dual lane top, Icy on the Weaver, and Sagam on the silencer. No skill picked up just yet, and it looks like in the end they won't run the dual lane. Kabu just heads bottom, but he'll head back top, and I like this combo. Cogs and Curse of the Silent spam. Going to be very annoying.
He's running very close to some Rising Stars heroes who are on the Radiant side. They're the team who won game 1. It's XDD playing that off-lane tri-lane hero for the 3rd game in a row. He's on the Sven, Super on the Visage, Mofi playing the Lina support. And then we have the mid lane, Zhao Tuji, the carry player on the Dragon Knight, and that puts Queen of Pain Air into the safe lane Queen of Pain. Clockwork still lingering around the bottom lane, so it will be the dual lane versus the Clock, and it's like we kind of agreed that you need Queen of Pain to make a mistake if you're going to win or get a kill on the Queen of Pain.
It's definitely possible to kill her, though, because you can easily creep skip. She won't be able to punish that. They could maybe get an early TP scroll on their supports to turn that tower dive around, but you clear out the creep wave, you surge the Clockwork in with Ion Shell, and if she blinks away and isn't in a good spot, or if she's already used Blink, then she'll die, because Blink has a very long cooldown at the early levels. So I think Eric can definitely live if he plays it right, but if he slips up, could be the first blood.
Yeah, I think that's perfect here. The problem is going to be the top lane, the tri lane. It's going to be so hard for these heroes to stay alive. They okay, Sentry Ward's on the Sven, the last hero to click. So Sven as Sentry Ward means Weaver, he's going to have a tough time.
I kind of like putting him on the Sven because if he wants to go, he just drops it, throws the Stormbolt immediately. He doesn't have to tell his teammates to do it. Maybe you can be a bit quicker with it. And also, he'll be in the front lines. He'll be close to the Weaver. They are going to hit that Stormbolt. The follow-up is there. The Soul Assumption jams it in. Easy first blood. Rising Stars on the mark. As soon as you blink, they find the kill.
And it was actually a cool little bit of play there by XDD. He put the Sentry Ward in range of the tower, so if they actually lose that Sentry Ward, but it was the only way they were going to get that kill.
And that's the nice thing about giving it to the Sven. He can be closer to the Weaver in the front lines. You have that on your supports. Your Lina who's sitting back. That Sentry Ward probably isn't enough. Icy would have gotten out of range and probably would have lived.
Well, meanwhile, bottom lane, there's some major creep skipping going on here.
Cheeky, cheeky, cheeky. Rattlesnake, they love their Darkseer, and this creep skipping is the main reason why. We've seen them do it with Juggernaut, but more commonly, it is with the Clockwork.
Well, it makes it a lot harder for Queen of Pain to get farmed. Forced to last it under the tower. Meanwhile, mid lane, DK versus Alchemist. Somewhat even matchup depending on who's, if they're both bottle crowing and bottle crowing hard. I don't really give either hero a big advantage there. I think Alchemist scales a bit better into sort of the 10 to 15 minute mark because of how he can roam around the map. His item progression with the fast mech, the medallion build, means he contributes a lot more than a DK can.
The one thing that DK can do a bit better is just siege the tower. So if Lua leaves the lane to go get a rune, you pop your dragon form, you can start to chip away at it with things like Poison Breath. So for the time being, Rising Stars, they got that first blood. And Sagam will have to play very far back, and if we see the early boots up on someone like Super, they could go for more kills, but for the time being, he'll spam the Curse of the Silent, nobody dying just yet, and Rattlesnake double jungle in the end of the jungle, creep skipping and air chewing through a lot of regen, but he's got his bottle, so all things considered.
Luo's going bottom. They want to kill Queen of Pain. He finds a haste room bottom. I was actually watching him thinking, does he go back mid, or does he go for the kill? And he's going for the kill.
Oh man, this is just classic Rattlesnake.
This should be a kill, but it depends how Queen of Pain plays it. If you blink into trees, below or to the right, may be able to survive.
Yeah, you do have the rocket to scout, but of course that rocket's going to be wearing off soon. The vision is there. Air blinks away. The stun follows him, but he might be safe here. He's in the acid spray, dropping slowly. Needs to tango up. He'll do it now, but he doesn't tango far enough away. Still in the acid spray, will go down, and Lua was already heading back towards mid. He said, my work here is done. Back to farming.
Yeah, I was actually expecting the Alchemist maybe to try tango through and find the Queen of Pain, because it was a level 1 blink, so it could have actually caught up to him with some tangos. Would have taken some guesswork, but nicely executed gank by Rattlesnake, although they did think they'd maybe messed it up.
Yeah, in the end, the acid spray is there, and it's level 1 blink. It takes a while to cool down, and Air gets picked off, but I think he's still doing all right, all things considered. He did force 3 heroes into the lane, Xiao Tuji, during that time, up to 16 CS, pulling ahead a bit, and the Tri-Lane's still doing reasonably well. We look at XDD, 14 CS for him, our Weaver, only 7, so Rising Stars, a decent start. They lead by about 600 gold, down by about 300 experience, still very even. But gods, I think we go back to our analysis of the draft, and the concern is, I don't think an even trade is good enough. Not when you're up against a 4-core lineup, and even a support like Silencer who's packs up punch later on, they got to get a bit more out of this laning stage.
Yeah, it does feel like they do need to. The one thing they have done really well is make sure Icy, the main carry play for Rattlesnake, has absolutely nothing. But when you've got the backup, when you have the Clockwork, I guess Clockwork, Darkseid, neither of them really a strong semi-carry. The semi-carry comes from Alchemist, but Alchemist, you know, he likes to go for the mech, he likes to go for the medallion, so I think Weaver is the key hero to shut down, which they have done. The Sentry Wards, they still got one more. If they can get another kill in the next couple of minutes, this is really dangerous for Rattlesnake.
XDD does have the Sentry. If he decides to go in, he probably should be able to get off the stun, but for the time being, not doing it. And Sagam, worried about getting picked off here, he'll actually go for a small camp pull. Almost a an extinct species of pull, really. You don't see this very often because it leaves your carry on an island, but it's a Weaver, and I guess they feel if he gets caught, he's dead regardless. So just playing a bit safer here on the silencer.
The other big thing is here, you're denying XP. This creep wave just gets killed off. So this is XP kept away from the Sven. So nicely played there. And it also pulls the creep wave back to Weaver's Tower, which is the only place he can farm. He can't go out to the lane because of that sentry ward there.
Arcane Boot's already up on Lamb. This is going to fuel the aggression bottom lane, and he hits level 5. They could look for a go here on Air pretty soon, who doesn't have boots yet. He's got the money, but hasn't bought them, and I feel Rattlesnake, 1 or 2 more creep waves, they're going to make a go on Air, and that's where your supports, maybe you need a TP. Super, no TP yet. Mofi, no TP on him, and even XDD, actually he does have one. Speaking of XDD, he's gone phase boots on Sven. Very unusual, but just wants to be able to chase through this laning stage.
Interesting. I don't think he has such poor attack speed, and I think he has high enough base damage that the phase boots, the damage doesn't help you enough. And it's all about mobility. But if you want that, you can go something like a drum. I guess the off-lane build that we're seeing all over the place is that race car build, phase drums.
We'll see what he goes for. It gives them a lot of mid-game chasing power, but again, it does neuter Sven's late game pretty significantly because
Luo's at it again with the Alchemist.
He's on the hunt. Bottom lane, he'll come in now. He's actually bought some Observer Wards for his team, it looks like, and they'll make a go in Air now. Channeling the stun from under cover of the tree line. Luo's going to come in, and it will chase that Queen of Pain even after she blinks. Kabu's here. No rocket to scout Air out, though, so that will allow him to get away for the time being. And, well, in the end, looks like they'll back off.
Yeah, this time the Acid Spray not quite on top of Air there. And
top lane, they've gone in on Mofi. Curse of the Silence there. Oh. Is it enough to get the kill? They surge in Icy. He's got Ion Shell. The Swarm is here. This is a Weaver that's going to hit especially hard. Burning Mofi to bits. The stun's going to miss. Spend no mana for a stun on the back foot. Xiaotuji will teleport in, but what can he do? Can he get in range here? And if he does, can he find a kill? Sagam gets caught. Is there going to be a Stormbolt? Doesn't look like XDD has mana indeed. Finally, now that I can click on him, I see he doesn't. He's got the stick charges. He'll pop them. They do find the kill on Sagam. The phase boots paying dividends there, but now bottom lane, they may go in again on Air. Looks like Kabu, not level 6 actually, but Luo's going to come in with a haste. Can't find the kill, and back to top lane. Round 5, fight. Where's your Stormbolt? No mana for it, but Xiaotuji will lead the way. Once Icy stuns him, there's no mana for Sakuchi. This is why they feel they can kill him off. Soul Assumption is there. Not able to dodge that nuke. He will fall, and now bottom lane, Air caught as well. Constant aggression all over the map. Air blinks into the trees. Luo says, I got you, buddy. And down he goes.
Wow, yeah. Even when you sort of switch to bottom lane, there was still action happening top there. Like, Darkseid almost gets another kill there. This is just, like you say, action all over the place. Both teams just going at it here in game number 3. 3 kills apiece right now. Neither team with a big lead, it feels like. Rattlesnake slightly behind as far as gold goes, but once they get items like the mech up on Alchemist, they've got the levels on these level-dependent heroes, they've got the Clockwork, the Dark, so they have the 4 cores. They're okay playing with a small disadvantage. And now they get a tier 1 tower, so even more gold going their way. That's going to actually put them ahead.
And they just have such good sniper potential. With the Clockwork now having his hook, you put Ion Shell in him, he can easily pick off Alina by himself from full HP to nothing, and you put Ion Shell on Weaver. I mean, that's the beauty of the Darkseer is these heroes that generally you want some items to really blow a hero off quickly who do more sustained damage. With Ion Shell, it's pretty much burst because between Ion Shell, things like the Clockwork, Battery Assault, everybody just mounts. Luo's going to channel another stun, and he'll go in bottom again. Air just can't get away, can't get a break. Hook is available, won't be used. The cogs from Kabu secure the kill. He hangs onto the hook. Nice little play.
Yeah, really smart bit of play there. And Alchemist, once again, rotations just happening all over them. Well, always bottom lane, succeeding. Smoke gang, I don't know if Lina DK are going to find too much here. Actually, they will because Alchemist has left Clockwork alone. He's got a hook shot, but he's got nothing to hook to.
Well, he's got a teleport scroll as well. They need to chain stun it properly to bring him down. They will now. The Dragon Tail comes through. Light Strike Away will follow up, and Kabu not able to live. A lot of fire. He'll be incinerated. But now the rotation from Rattlesnake. They want to go back in. They'll have this Alchemist ult coming soon. He'll pop it now, and he's going to find himself a fresh and delicious Lina. He'll chop her up quickly. She's going to explode. Killing spree for Luo, but it feels like more. He has just been feasting on this bottom half of the map.
Yeah, 4 kills coming out from him at bottom lane. 3 of them picked up by him. 1 he just got an assist on. Darkseid can get stunned up. Now Queen of Pain's arrived. Well, speaking of it, people being blown up, there goes Darkseid. Another kill, this time going the way of RisingStars. And it's only been 10 kills in the 8.5 minutes, but it feels like there's been a lot more aggression than that.
for Rising Stars, they do trade there. The score's 5-5. Oh, they're going on Lu now. If they can get another kill, that would be huge. Stormbolt's here. Is there mana from our Dragon Knight? Doesn't, even with Arcane Boots or with Interreds, won't have it. Doesn't matter. Visage is there. They pick up the kill. The one thing I would say, though, is when Rising Stars are fighting kills, like especially that kill in the jungle, they sent 2 or even 3 cores there. Weaver was just farming top lane that entire time. They'll hook in top now. They'll go on Mofi, trapped in the cogs, blown up in a hurry. Sad game to be Alina.
It really is, and this is Intel being... Actually, no, he's not stealing Intel. He hasn't got any points in Glaives yet. Silencer missing out on those investments.
Yeah. I mean, is it... I don't know if it doesn't work like Flesh Strength, where if you level it up later, you still get it, or do you just miss out?
No, you just miss out.
Sad. Sad, sad Silencer. Well, it's the little things here for Icy. He's actually maybe going to farm himself some familiars. Speaking of familiars, Visage hitting level 6 in pretty timely fashion. Super. He's going for the mech. Ardia's Chainmail. Ardia's Headdress. Rising Star still in a decent position, but I feel there's more pressure on them to make things happen, to rotate, to find kills. And I mean, you have things like a Phase Boots Fend. How well is that really going to do later on against Clockwork Cogs, against Darkseer? We'll see, but Rising Stars, for the time being, content to farm.
Yeah, they're content to farm. They have got... I mean, you mentioned it's the 4 cores of Rattlesnake, but you look at the 3 cores of Rising Stars, DK, Sven, Queen of Pain. That, to me, is a bit scary around that 25, 30-minute mark, if they can just bear out and survive the onslaught that's going to come from Rattlesnake with this Clockwork Darkseer. The Alchemist, once he has his mech up, we'll see even more aggression from Rattlesnake. So if they can survive that, make it to like the 25, 30-minute mark, I think they are going to be better off. Long
duration smoke here from Rising Stars. It's about to wear off. They'll head into the jungle. While this is happening, the familiars are being total nuisances. Kabu, under cover of Invis Rune, is lurking mid, and we'll see a backstab. The smoke about to end. Xiaotuji, this is the time to go in. Can they actually make something happen? Kabu's cogged in super, pulled him back. The Stormbolt comes through, only clip slam, but a lot of burst. It seems Rising Stars has got the jump here. Can they finish the job? XDD, melting in a hurry. Earn charge should be enough to take him down. He'll take a fall. Lamb surges into the pit. He's juked the crap out of Xiaotuji. Lamb's gonna live, earned up in the side of the pit. Air, can he find him? Roshan's gonna start chopping away. Lamb, what a baller. He's gonna live. He's gonna come back in fact, after healing up. He wants to make something happen. This tower's dropping fast. The familiar's trying to usher him away. Lamb, well, I jinxed him, guys. He was doing so well, but he comes back in, and he pays the price.
He was doing so well, then he comes back into DK stun, full damage familiars, and he does pay the price. Once again, kills being traded all over the map. Rising Stars come out slightly ahead this time around because they get 1 extra kill as well as a tier 1 mid tower. Sure, top lane, there's some farm going the way of Rattlesnake, but this time it's just a silencer, and he's not putting any pressure on this tower, actually. So Rattlesnake, a fight lost for them.
He gets the global now, but it's 12 minutes in. It's a pretty late level 6, and Silencer, as a support, doesn't really do much for you except be the global ultimate. He gives you a little bit of nuke damage, a slight mana burn over time, but it's just not much. He's all about the global, and with that global being delayed, Rising Stars have taken full advantage. It is up now, though, and let's see if Rattlesnake can turn this fight around. They need a big fight here. Kabu will lead the way, as he so often does, fishing for a hook. He'll set up with a rocket. He's not even going to need a hook. He catches out Mofi. Mofi's in trouble. Easily burned to bits, and now hook's still available. They can think about taking a tier 1 top.
This is where Rattlesnake's lineup is at its peak, which is where it's worrying. They're losing fights like that at mid. The Iron Shell and Clockwork gives him so much DPS right now. He's got a hook shot in. If he can find anyone with that, and he doesn't get burst down, it's kills going his way.
Well, Rising Stars, they'll be camping here at the tower. Everybody just tanking up. Xiaotuji, he's got an Ogre Club. Do you really want to initiate on him? He's very tanky. They will go in. Can they bring him down in time? It looks like they can. They vacuum him across the cogs. Mana burn into submission. He'll take a fall. He'll spill to the ground. And now Rattlesnake, they actually did use the global there. That's going to be a 2-hero Stormbolt, but do they actually go in? Air has the ult. He was thinking about it. Wisely, I feel, plays it safe. Rattlesnake, they find a kill there on the Dragon Knight, but haven't fully broken the tower yet, and they did use global as well.
Yeah, global, hookshot, a lot of ultis being used. It's still okay for them. It just means they can't look to re-engage for some time here. They won't have the global when they do. The key thing is when hookshot is back up. They've got 35 seconds on that. Then they look to re-engage, find another pickup, but they have to be a lot more careful about that, the fight they try and take, because global silence, much longer cooldown.
They've teleported Luo towards bottom. He won't be going for the mech this game, by the way. It looks like our Darkseer, with a very fast start for Lamb, will be picking that up. Up to 70 CS already. A lot of those jungle creeps, but is still your net worth leader. And over on Rising Stars, they'll have a fast mech too. Visage almost has completed his. They'll start here with a Sven Warcry trying to find a kill. Won't get a range for anyone, but the birds, the familiars, scouting things out, and they feel confident to fight. There's no global. Let's do it, guys. Rising Stars getting aggressive.
Yeah, this is, I think it's going to be a sack tower. Maybe looking for a bit of a trade at bottom lane for Lua getting some farm here. He's not going to be able to get a tier 2 tower by any means, but tier 1 tower gets glyphed by the Dire side. Rattlesnake, they've got hookshot back up, but I don't see them trying to take this fight. No one in position to defend this.
This is going to be Super's mech. He should have the gold for it now. 70 gold short. He'll have it any second now, and that's so big to get the mech on him. Darkseer, one of the big reasons why Rattlesnake loved that off-lane, dual-lane Darkseer Clockwork is not only the kill potential, but the ability to get the tower early in a 2v1 and then farm a fast mech and snowball the team fights from there. But RisingStars getting a mech of their own that quickly, that somewhat sweeps the rug out from under what Rattlesnake are looking to accomplish. And if this game goes a little bit later, I feel RisingStars, they may start to pull away because they have heroes who do a lot of damage innately through their spells. And for Rattlesnake, no mech in sight this game, or no pipe in sight. I mean, I don't think they'll be getting one anytime soon, which means the nuke damage is going to be huge.
Yeah, the nuke damage is there, and this is... On top of that, they have a Sven with a phase drums. If he starts looking towards a BKB, his damage output in these fights is going to start looking pretty scary as well. The DK, all he needs to be is a setup stun. Sure, he's not... He can be a damage-dealing hero, but if he can just get levels, have a long-range stun initiation, and be tanky as all hell on the front lines with a BKB, well, his job is done, and that's where Sven follows it up. Visage follows it up with their damage-dealing capabilities. And, well, for Rattlesnake, I guess you have to start getting worried, because they're not finding the early-game dominance that you'd expect from their lineup.
And I thought Rattlesnake had the much stronger lineup for the mid-game around that 10 to 15 minute mark, but you look later on and there's a lot of AoE on RisingStars. Their supports do a lot more damage, and if they are able to get a level 16 Dragon Knight, Alchemist can be kited pretty effectively. There is always the Darkseer wall, so you can't really count Rattlesnake out. They do get their mechanism now, but yeah, you look towards RisingStars, and their heroes they're getting farmed are better damage dealers. Aside from maybe Alchemist, but Luo, he's not very farmed. 46 CS, hasn't taken any points of Greevil's Greed. A middling level of farm for him.
They're going to find Luo as well. They're going to wall behind the tower. XDD is just going to go running, and now he's been spotted. Luo's channeling a stun now. He needs to get this off before XDD does. He doesn't do so. 2 seconds. There's a global silence. Luo going to turn this around. Vacuum wall. Everybody getting caught out. RisingStars, they've only lost one though. Clockwork also takes the fall. Queen of Pain with a Sonic Wave. Not quite doing enough damage, and DK, Sven going to back off here. This is a decent turnaround from Rattlesnakes, and they're not done. They're still chasing. They want Zautuji. Alchemist brings down the Queen of Pain, and the chase is now on. Looks like no one else can be brought down, but global silence. Alchemist channeling is done. Perfect counter gank there. Sven just got a bit too over-eager with scouting out the Alchemist. Saw him alone, but there was just too many heroes who can just TP right into that fight.
Like you said, beautifully timed global, and it's an ability that, yes, very long cooldown if you mess it up. Silencer is basically a walking range creep, but you get it off. Completely turns the fight. That was such great teamwork. They actually managed to vacuum the heroes into the Alchemist stun, and on top of that, the wall got dropped in a position where they're just sitting on the wall, the illusions constantly dying, respawning, and doing extra damage for RisingStar, or for Rattlesnake. So really the perfect fight for them. Now, all of a sudden, Shadowblade's coming soon for Luo. They're going to get a Roche, and Rattlesnake, maybe that snowball gets a little bit more momentum.
Yeah, they need to get this Roshan fast, though. Visage Familiars are going to scout out momentarily. Right now, only Lina as well as the Visage in position to counter to try and stop this Roshan from happening. And they're actually going to pick off one Familiar. Can they get 2 even? This is going to hurt if if RisingStars give up this Roshan.
It actually gets the stone form off, but I believe died mid-cast animation or something. Saw the stun there, see the cooldown, but won't matter. Kabu cogging away, and they will take the Roshan. Shadowblade's coming soon. Icy treads up for him, working. If he wants to go drums, he can. He'll go BKB. Rattlesnake just going for items that allow them to continue to dominate the mid-game, because that's what they need to do.
Yeah, that was not good for RisingStars. The fight at bottom lane was one thing, but then they follow it up, feed away some more Familiars. They've got 100+ seconds with no Familiars, which is actually pretty big deal if you want to take some team fights. The AoE stuns can make a big difference against some of these key heroes over on the Rattlesnake side. So RisingStars, they're going to be forced to just play a bit more passive, play a more farming-based game. They don't want to fight into the aegis of Rattlesnake. Not to mention, they just want to get their BKB on Sven, the BKB on DK. Queen of Pain also going BKB. So they're going for the triple BKB on their core heroes.
You know, the other thing that I mentioned earlier, which now changes a lot and is no longer very true, is I said Darkseer probably won't get a pipe anytime soon. But after that fight, he's almost got the hood, and pipe isn't really that far off at that point. You get a pipe of Darkseer, going triple BKB for RisingStars. Sven has good natural DPS if he's able to hit you, but can be kited by things like Cogs and Surge rather easily. So potentially they get this triple BKB and then can't do enough damage with nukes, still end up losing fights anyway. They'll need they'll need some physical damage after this. For the time being, they have a double damage on rune on air. That'll help, but you look a little bit mid-game, late-game, and triple BKB, it does neuter your burst.
And BKB is nice, but it's not like a guaranteed survival. Alchemist with the Shadow Blade can catch you by surprise. And with this unstable concoction channel into Shadow Blade stun, maybe you kill him before they even cast a BKB.
Yeah, there's no familiars up, as you mentioned, and Super, as a result, can't really do much. Just has to give up this tier 1 mid. Rattlesnake starting to flex their muscles. They aren't defending their bottom tower for the time being. They'll head directly towards top, towards Xiaotuji, who is one creep away from his Mithril Hammer. He'll pick it up now, just in the nick of time, and he'll get out. Well, that was playing with fire, but he gets it, he gets away, and they get the tier 1 bottom, so Rising Stars, good trades from them so far.
Yeah, Rattlesnake just seem intent on taking all these tier 1 towers one by one, but this seems to be the tower that Rising Stars are getting ready to defend. They've got DK there with a delivered BKB sitting around in the trees, and 3-4 more heroes converging towards top lane.
He does hide in the trees, but unfortunately, yeah, Rocket spotted him walking in there. He will back off, he'll play it a bit safe, and I feel going on the DK is a red herring here. He's just not going to do that much in the fight in terms of damage, but you go on him, you're not breaking him down quickly. No real damage items yet on Rattlesnake.
Another rocket goes in the trees. This one spots out XDD on his Sven. They see he doesn't have a BKB, it's only the DK. And I think Rattlesnake will go for this tower.
He's really the one you want. If you go for one of these carries, it's got to be him. I mean, maybe Aerith's Queen of Pain, but she's elusive. The Sven does a lot of damage, and he's someone who doesn't have a BKB, like you said, so can be burst down. They'll stun Xiaotuji. Doesn't pop his BKB, but it's not really a long-duration stun. They just want the tower. He's got his Dragon Form, not using that either. Are they going to get the deny? Rising Stars trying to mount a defense here, standing before the tower will fall. It does get denied. Beautiful play by Xiaotuji, and Rattlesnake, I don't think they'll actually force the fight. Just patient play from our Dragon Knight. Xiaotuji, well, impressive under fire.
Yeah, it's similar to last game with Rattlesnake, where they just want to play this safe, conservative. Once they feel they have an edge, they don't try and make any risks sort of that can throw them behind. The stun from Luo, it was more just like you say. They want to bait out the BKB. They had no intention of actually going on a DK with a BKB and 4 heroes backing him up with a ton of burst damage. He's the red herring. He's the guy that you just do not go on whatsoever. You ignore him in the fight, and every time he's going to be on the front line. So they did a good job not going in, went for the tower. It gets denied. Rattlesnake say, oh well, we're back to farming. We're still ahead even though you deny that tower.
Rattlesnake have gone for a double Hood of Defiance. This is generally not something you see. If you want a little bit of magic resistance, a cloak usually does in a pinch. You do get a bit more from Hood, but it's not that significant, and well, it's going to somewhat... I mean, you look at Clockwork, Darkseer, they're not going to do much with items, I guess, later anyway, but it puts a lot of pressure on your Weaver, or even your Alchemist to do the physical damage. Neither of them particularly farmed.
Yeah, both Clockwork and Darkseer are just teamfight heroes anyways, and they need to be tanky in the front lines. Clockwork doesn't have any HP regen as well, so
the Hood of Defiance could be something like a Shiva's, a Scythe of Vice, an item that will scale better late, but they say we just want to have the advantage now.
Yeah, I think the one item especially that'll help Clockwork, we saw it last game, having an Aghanim Scepter with the short cooldown on Hookshot is where he'll probably look to go next with this. And Darkseer, it's going to be Darkseer going for the pipe, so he gets up the Headdress, and Clockwork just going to sit on this Hood, probably start building towards an Ag Scepter.
It's a big gold investment. Let's see if they can make it work. Rattlesnake, they'll probably want to keep the pressure up now. They'll start grouping up bottom, looking to push that lane in. As for Rising Stars, triple BKB should be online soon if it's not already. Sven, the one who hasn't farmed his yet. Queen of Pain did just pick hers up, and they'll look to push a bit bottom. They have about a minute before this Aegis despawns, and that's where Rattlesnake say, we've got our double Hood, we'll have our pipe soon, let's go fight now.
Yeah, they're gonna try force these fights. Bottom lane, the tier 2s are now going to be their target here. Rising Stars not really in position to defend. They're actually killing off a big Ancient stack here. XDD with this should have almost his BKB. Not going to quite have it, but he'll be very, very close. But he's used the ultimate. Defending not going to be all that easy.
Yeah, I think Rising Stars, they'll just try and stall here. They won't want to take a head-on fight, not unless Rattlesnake overextend. No pipe yet for Lamb. You mentioned the Headdress still needs the recipe, but they'll continue to siege out the lane. The Familiars will come in as well. There is a resummon available, even if they do die. So Super should be able to have the impact. He did it in the earlier fights. They'll TP Luo out, and it looks like Rattlesnake back to farming. Aegis going to despawn soon. Why take the risk? Let's just sit back. But for Rising Stars, this works out beautifully. They'll have the triple BKB, and that'll be a big window for them.
Yeah, it does work out very nicely for them. They're going to have... there we go, Sven BKB. So for them, their timing window is really now. They actually want to fight, which is kind of... They're a little bit behind, but it does seem to be the case. Gold Graph is actually dead even, so as to how much they really are behind, it's not a whole lot right now. It really goes to show how well they've actually been farming, because it's the farm that's kept them in this game. They're losing towers around the map lately. They're losing out on kills, but they're staying dead even.
Who's the biggest, baddest RS in the house? We're going to find out soon, guys. It's game 3. It's going the distance for now. 23 kills of this game, about 23 minutes in. Pretty even. Gold graph, dead even there. Only a very slight lead for the Radiant. Experience, negligible. 2,000 experience advantage for Rattlesnake. And both teams, they have their strengths, they have their weaknesses as it goes later and later. So it's going to be a slugfest, and it'll go all the way until the bitter end. Neither team really forcing the fights, which, I mean, truth be told, gods, you look at RisingStars and Rattlesnake, two of the more aggressive lineups in China in terms of their drafts and their play style, but just content to slow roll it here.
Yeah, they seem like they're just going to be seen back, and RisingStars actually be the first ones to be the aggressive. They're going for tier 2s now, and it's just as the 3 BKBs come up. They've got 3 cores who are looking more farmed and more deadly than, well, the Rattlesnake 4 cores. They've got a Clockwork who's like a 4 position with just some tankiness. Even the Darkseer, it's mostly just tankiness. He went both mech and pipe, which limits his late game items.
Yeah, let's see what they go for now. The Dragon Form going to be used on that tower. Air coming in from the sidelines, not blinking in just yet. They'll start the fight now with a BKB from Xiaotuji. They want to blow up Sag. They vacuum him back. He won't get off the global. That could be very costly. Luo in the middle of the fight, trying to man-fight his way out against XDD, but that Sven is the biggest, baddest mother effer on the planet. He'll find the kill there. 2 heroes to fall, and now the tower likely to go down as well. They've even gotten a dragon of their own, but doesn't matter. Buyback from Luo. They really want to force a fight. They've got the global, but everyone from RisingStars is going to get out. Never mind that. Kabu hooks in, finds one. They do kill off the Queen of Pain, but still RisingStars, end of the day. Great fight for them.
Yeah, fantastic fight for RisingStars to start things off. Alchemist even being forced to use a buyback. I think he wanted to maybe TP in, but there was no tier 2 tower left, and by then, fight was already over. Fight was already won for RisingStars. The one pick-off on Queen of Pain is kind of annoying and will hurt quite a bit. It's actually going to help out Clockwork quite nicely. He's up to 1k gold now, but even so, RisingStars, they get the tier 2 tower, they get some kills, and then they get the hell out of there.
Is anybody not going to get a BKB in this game? BKB number 4 now online. It won't surprise me one bit if Luo goes for one after his Assault Cuirass. Plate mail picked up for him. Could be a Shiva's, but AC just seems like it has much better synergy with the Weaver, and they are lacking for physical damage now. I see early BKB. Great to sort of live through the chain stun if you get it off, but now the damage items start to come for RisingStars, and for Rattlesnakes, I start to worry a bit about their late game. Yeah, they have a good late game, but they need items for it to really come into play.
I love seeing this damage item come out. The Shadow Blade pickup is actually really nice for Xiaotuji. Normally you see this as a first item, but I think at this point it's going to be able to get... Look at this. Right off the bat, Shadow Blade, look for a kill on Icy. If he gets the stun, it's a kill. He doesn't actually get it, but this kind of shows what we're going to be seeing later.
Oh, he might. Icy's got to keep on spamming Sakuchi. No. Oh, Xiaotuji won't get in range.
Not quite. If he got maybe a 100, 150 range closer, he could pop the ultimate, then immediately stun after it. But this Shadow Blade build is just so aggressive, so nice. It's cost-effective for damage. On top of that, you can find those great initiations from an Invis.
And the big thing is that he's getting close to level 16. And that's where Dragon Knight becomes a big problem for Rattlesnakes. They have 3 melee heroes in an Alchemist, a Darkseer, as well as a Clockwork, and Alchemist, not a particularly mobile damage melee hero in general. He needs to hit you and stay on you to do damage. Sure, you get a little bit of mobility from his ultimate, his Shadow Blade, but end of the day, that's not going to be enough against that Elder Frost Dragon, which is coming soon for Xiaotuji. And RisingStars flexing their muscles, pushing in this bottom lane. They're going to look to take this last outer tower, aside from the tier 2 top. If they do it, they'll have good position for Roshan number 2. Kabu comes in, looking for a hook. Can't find it. The familiar stun is there. They'll all group up. They want to get rid of these pesky familiars, but respawn comes in 11 seconds, so they'll get another go. How committed are RisingStars to this fight? Top lane pushing in, mid lane pushing in. They'll back off.
There's your answer. Not very committed. XCD wants to back off. He's got close to a Mask of Madness. So
and this could be Roche now.
Yeah, it actually could be, which is nice decision for Rattlesnake if they do go for this and successfully get it. So it looks like right now RisingStars, Sven kills one creep wave and then ignores the rest. He's coming straight to the Roshan pit. They want to contest this.
There's not a whole lot of minus armor aside from Acid Spray, but it seems that may be enough. The familiars come in. They're all stalling right now. RisingStars looking to get in position. Xiaotuji comes in. There doesn't seem to be any detection for him. He'll get the stun on Lamb. He's got the pipe. He's got the mech. He can't die here. He's got to get it off. He gets up the mech. He throws out a vac, a wild one at that, but isn't going to be enough. It doesn't look like it's Sven. Man moding up on Kabu. The BKBs are doing the trick. Icy's BKB. Who cares about this Weaver? He'll just have to crawl away. He can't do a whole lot. Air jumps in, but out of mana, maybe Icy lives. Still, guys, end of the day, great fight for RisingStars once again.
Yeah, once again, BKBs just save the day. They may not be done here. Sag M getting caught out by a DK Sun. Flame Breath to follow up. He's going to pop the magic wand, pop a jump charge. He gets caught out. And that fight came down to the BKBs. The Global Silence came out. They go in the Darkseer. Global Silence come out. Half a second after Global Silence, they pop the BKBs. They get rid of the Global Silence, and they finish off the Darkseer. Even though he cast the mech, doesn't really matter. He's used it just to keep himself alive longer. He hasn't used it to actually help out his team and heal. He didn't even heal his teammates. They were all mostly full HP.
Mass BKB is one of the better ways to deal with Global if you can get away with it. And right now it seems like they can. It seems like they have enough damage. Other big thing there is just Darkseer getting caught out. That wasn't a particularly good pipe, mech, vacuum, or wall, and they need a good one right now. Their team fight is heavily predicated on it. We'll see. Maybe a courier snipe here from Luo.
He walked right past it. It was actually, looks like just Shadow Blading towards the Ancients, or at least towards the top lane. So not going to see him get caught out. The Radiant team probably see, oh, they've got the gem already. Visage with the gem. So they're going to have vision of the Shadow Blade. Also going to get complete map control, D-ward over the entire map. And this is looking like a really good position to be in if you're Rising Stars.
You know, one thing that I'll try to do some research on after this game and that I'm personally curious about is how buybacks are working out for teams lately, because I feel like the team that's buying back more is almost always losing. And sure, buying back, generally you only do it when you're behind, but we've seen Rattlesnake buy back when the game's pretty close, really forcing the issue mid, where maybe Luo just accepts that his team lost that fight. Now the AC very delayed, and it seems like Rattlesnake, perhaps they're too quick on the trigger there because their item progression has been completely stilted.
Yeah, the goal graph slightly okay. I mean, not as one-sided as you'd think, but when you start looking at the net worth of some of these heroes, 2K goal graph, but goal graph lead for the Radiant team, but net worth of some of these heroes heavily favoring the Radiant team.
Force Staff is coming soon for Kabu. That'll give him that Bulba-like ability to hook shot in and then cog someone up, Force Staff back out. And well-placed cogs, you vacuum heroes in on top of a wall. Rattlesnake still have an incredible team fight, and Rising Stars don't have any easy way to get out of those cogs, but you got to hit the combo. And right now, they've struggled to do it. It's hard against the triple BKB. It's also hard when you're just not getting the jump on Rising. How are you going to get the jump on them now? It's all about the hooks, because the Shadowblade Alch will not be initiating effectively anymore. They'll go in mid now. Stun's going to connect on Icy. Sakuchi was cooling down. He's caught in a bad spot. Can he get away? It looks like he will, but Rising Stars, man, damn you, Lumi. They're trying to push in the top lane now and feeling pretty confident.
It's annoying. Lumi is just, he's caught on to every... I don't miscall them. Like, I don't say Rising Snake or Rattle Stars.
You just have to think about it, and...
It's when I go to say which team, I call the team by the wrong name. I don't muddle up the names. It's more just calling one team by the wrong name now.
I catch myself most of the time, and even when I mess it up, I catch myself,
It's
but you still...
Freaking Lumi.
He was even getting to
fire
Purge.
Lumi.
Unacceptable.
Yeah.
We'll have to do something about
And
that
Purge
Lumi
is
character.
like just that stalwart of professionalism. And
It was like getting under his skin. Xiao Tuji, oh, well, he's a level 3 dragon, and he'll have that Elder Dragon form with the Frost Dragon slow. But the good news is, Assault Cuirass comes out now in the Alchemist. This might be an opportunity. Lamb, look for the back. Hook's going to catch. 2 as well. No, the BKBs get off, but XDD trapped under the tower, dying very quickly to his own illusion. Will he be able to get out of here? He's in trouble. He does have the Aegis, but he'll come back with no BKB and no God Strength. That's a fantastic defense so far. End of the day, though, they don't get any follow-up kills, but they do burn the Aegis and the BKBs as well.
yeah, he popped the BKB Mask of Madness as soon as it was jumped on, but the tower damage, his illusion damage, just completely destroyed this Fen. So Rising Stars, they throw away an Aegis, they're going to back off here, and this is kind of like what we saw last game, where you get ahead, you just want to make sure you play this as safe as possible. Rising Stars, they lose an Aegis, they say, okay, push over, back to farming.
Hasterin up on Xiao Tuji, up to 2.8k gold, and I mean, at this point in the game, he's the one that you want to get fat, because he's the one that can actually be in a ranged form, cleaving through everyone in the fight. Sven, can he actually get any auto attacks off? Hard to say. So the fact that Xiao Tuji is leading the charts in terms of farm, that's big. They'll go in on Icy now. He gets stunned, and the gem is here. I don't think he'll get out alive. He won't. A beautiful kill from Rising Stars, and Icy just way too far away from his base.
Yeah, nice play there. The Shadow Blade really paying off for it when you can get these pickups.
Bottom lane as well. They'll go in on air. They look for the trade.
Ooh.
They will blow him up. Hook slams
Big
it
kill.
in.
That's, to me, is a bigger kill than actually the Weaver at this point. Weaver, who is looking to be one of the main sources of damage for this dire side, but Queen of Pain, a lot of gold, a lot of XP there.
They'll come in now. Super leads the way, and the
Everyone
war cry.
kicking out.
This is a race car Sven, guys. You don't want to fight him. You do want to cog him under your tower. Let's see if they can put off
Luo's
Luo.
still here. Okay, now he TPs.
Is it too late? XTD's coming close. He'll dodge a bullet, but playing with fire, my friend. Playing with fire. So in the end, guys, we'll head towards late game now. And for Rattlesnake, they did go for the mid-game items, the mech, the double hood, and then into a pipe for Lamb. But if you get up a Scythe of Ice on Lamb, you get your next item on Alchemist. and maybe you get something big on Kabu beyond the Force Staff, something like an Ag Scepter, it's hard to go high ground against this team. And Global starts to come into play more now because the BKBs have a short duration, and oftentimes RisingStars are using them a little more preemptively. So maybe Global makes the difference here.
Yeah, we've been talking about how RisingStars is suddenly looking really good. They're the ones taking control. But this game, by all means, is very, very close. RisingStars have an edge, but Rattlesnake have plenty of late game options.
Are they really wrapping around bottom lane? That's two ships passing in the night.
That was very, very close. But I mean, looking towards the late game, Alchemist, a great carry. Even though he is farming quite poorly, he'll quickly reach that next big item, and then he's looking pretty good with a BKB maybe. Ooh. DK, Heaven's Halberd. Okay, get some disarm going on.
Yeah, there's no BKB on Luo. There's no way to remove this, and he'll be fairly ineffective in the fights. Weaver, I don't even think they care about Icy. Sure, he's got a Crystalist, but Weaver's natural damage output is actually pretty atrocious. You have Geminate attack, but I mean, he's just not going to hit hard against DK, against all the armor from RisingStars, so it's just the Alchemist you care about.
Put Warcry on a DK, and it's really scary how tanky these heroes are. And that's plus 16 armor for the entire Radiant team, so that's all of these heroes taking much less damage from a Weaver. Yeah,
it comes down, I think more than anything, to getting Dragonite in the wall. Because if you do, you got a Frost Dragon of your own, and we saw how hard that hits in the previous fight. Xiaotuji could end up being XDD's worst enemy. He'll lead the way here, but tucked away on the high ground is Kabu, is Lamb. Very dangerous to initiate here, but they'll go in now under cover of Dragon Form. Can they blow up Lamb in time?
Great.
He's force-staffed away. Kabu saves his life. Beautiful play.
He was just waiting there. Zhao Tuji was hoping he'd walk further down the lane, because then he'd go in for a stun, but the Shadow Blade was wearing off. He said, okay, team, we're going to go for this anyways.
Oh, he's going back in, though. Is there a Force Staff for Kabu? It's cooling down. Lamb's gotten a little cocky, a little greedy, perhaps. He drops the wall, but the BKBs are here, and it doesn't seem to be enough. Lamb barely going to live. The Force Staff just cooling down. Air blinking away. Luo in the midst of the fight, but the Elder Dragon, maybe he's the king boss here. Luo eats a double familiar stun. Now Sven comes in as well, but they just can't seem to find a kill. Everybody's low. BKBs are down. Xiaotuji back in. The chase will come through. There's your stun. Pushed away. Can they get him safe? Kabu jumps in. There's your cog. And it looks like Xiaotuji, he's overextended. He went in twice, and he'll pay with his life. XDD, barely able to escape. They only lose one, but they use another full set of BKB charges, and they lose a fight at the high ground.
Oh, this could not be the end of things here. Luo getting chased down here. There is a hook shot up now in just a second for Kabu. He's got it. He's trying to go on this Visage, but
the familiars are there. Kabu's going to juke away. Can he find Super? He force steps to the high ground. Look for the hook. Can he get it off in time? He's too late. Barely escapes.
Oh, just out of there. That was so close.
Very close. So what do you make of the past couple of fights, Gods? We look at the gold graph now. 4,500 gold lead. Experience, 4,500 experience lead for RisingStars. But truth be told, I feel like Rattlesnake is more momentum right now.
Rattlesnake are holding, and I feel the last few fights have just sort of broke even enough that Rattlesnake are just getting further and further towards the late game where they have the Darkseer. We're seeing the power of the Wall of Replica. At the same time, Rattlesnake held because of two fantastic 4-stars from Clockwork. 2 times he saves the Darkseer there.
And you can't necessarily count on that. If they're a little bit quicker with the chain stun and they get the second stun off before he's force-staffed away, he may just go down regardless. So the other interesting point here to make is RisingStars. They have 3 BKBs, and they're all running low in terms of duration. 6 seconds on every single BKB. So a lineup that Sven with the Mask of Madness and Phase Boots is actually very squishy when the Mask of Madness is on and the BKB is off. Can easily be blown to bits if he gets caught out. So low BKB durations, this is where Rattlesnake, maybe their lineup starts to be a little bit scarier now.
And they want to, well, they don't actually have a whole lot of magic damage. They have all these disables and stuns, but I feel like that's almost what they need because the huge armor on a DK, the Warcry makes these heroes very high armor. So they'll start looking to maybe burst down some of these heroes, find a nice target to go on with the Clockwork hook initiations. And as to who that'll be, we'll have to wait and see.
It's a game that comes down to execution. Both teams, they have their strong points. I'd say RisingStars a little bit more sustained DPS, but Rattlesnake, the big AoE combo, and the great abilities like Cogs and Vacuum Wall that can just totally turn the fight. So it's going to come down to whoever plays better, which is always what you hope for when a game of Dota goes late.
Oh yeah. We'll see some big and important smoke ganks coming up in the next 5-10 minutes, as well as a lot of key fights around Roshan, who is respawning in the next minute or two, and that's where both teams will be looking to play around. 2 huge items pickups at the same time. Scyther Vice and Assault Cuirass.
I was wondering where XDD's next item was, because he hasn't been farming that much for a while, but now he shoots up. He'll be your lead net worth. He picks up the AC, and what is DK's armor going to be? When he's got Warcry on him as well as the Assault Cuirass bonus, probably around 40 armor.
Yeah.
That's a lot of armor, gods. Let me say that again, because you're reading chat. He'll have around 40 armor.
I heard you, man. I heard you. 40 armor.
40 friggin' armor. It's not over 9,000, but it's close.
Alchemist is going to look like a little pea shooter next to that.
No,
Weaver,
he's
like,
a cute one.
Eh.
Well, Rattlesnake, they're farming the jungle, and also they're going to get a Sight the Vice soon on Lamb. That's a key item for them, because with the BKB durations being lowered, Sight the Vice becomes a lot more potent, and I feel like Sven can still be blown up. Sure, he's got this Assault Curse, but with Mask of Madness, you take so much extra damage from having this item active. If you get Sight, if your BKB wears off, you will melt.
Here come the big important smoke ganks in the late game. Rising Stars are the ones to make the first go. It's a wraparound happening. They need to get a good initiation.
It's actually been an initiation through the creep camp from Xiaotuji. He gets caught in the cogs. Now the wall deployed, vacuumed across the cogs. Mana burned as well. Bounced all around the world. The BKBs all come out in a flurry. Lamb charges into the middle of them. Really confident play, perhaps cocky even. Now Luo next in line. That's a very angry Sven. Luo gonna drop fast. Another set of cogs from Kabu, but the damage dealers are on the run. It looks like it'll be the end for him as well. Can he TP out in time? He can't. Familiar stuns are there. 3 heroes dead. Rising Stars, just in the nick of time, they can either go Roche or take the last tier 2 and threaten the base.
Yeah, the Clockwork initiation just onto a DK didn't really achieve a whole much. The wall vacuum, once again, only caught the DK. You had this Frost Dragon illusion, but it's not doing a whole lot of damage. You do get the Frost effect, but it just wasn't enough. They need a big 3-4 hero vacuum wall, and Rattlesnake couldn't find it.
I thought for Rising Stars, or for Rattlesnake, they almost could have just backed off there. Sure, everybody from Rising Stars is pretty mobile, but cogs just make it so hard to chase. Weaver can just Sakuchi away. Darkseer can surge. They actually ran into that, into the triple BKB, into Sven's God Strength. Maybe they lose 1 or 2, but losing 3, that's just because they stuck around to try to take a fight that, frankly, was a very low percentage fight for them.
Well, the good news is for Rattlesnake, it's only a Roshan that they lost out of it. They didn't lose any lanes here. They are now starting to respawn, so they can look to start to regroup, take the next fight. But I think the other big thing leading to that fight going so horribly wrong was what we just saw a minute or 2 before. The 2 big item pickups, Assault Chris as well as Scythe of Vice, both being picked up before that fight happened. Rattlesnake just don't have their late game items. They don't have their Scythe on the Darkseer yet. They don't have the Daedalus on Weaver. They don't have any extra items on the Alchemist. He's still sitting on just Shadowblade and Assault Chris of his own.
It's the buybacks. It's the fact that we'll see a hook in now. Kabu's going to go. Catches out Xiaotuji. He doesn't have his Elder Dragon form. He's got cheese. He'll pop it now. BKB even thrown out, and that's what he needed to keep himself alive. He's got the ult. Will he pop it now? He's actually going to Shadowblade away. Wants to just get out of here, and the wall was already used, which means they won't get a level 3 dragon of their own. Rising Stars, though, they do pop that cheese and some more BKB charges and don't really accomplish a whole lot. Rattlesnake continue to be very pernicious in their defenses.
They're so annoying. It's just, you go at them, they just somehow manage to hold. They even just drop a wall. Even with wall now being on cooldown, Rising Stars still aren't looking to commit to this. They've got almost all of their ultimates except the Queen of Pain ultimate, but they're saying, nope, it's not worth the risk. We're going to fall back. Rattlesnake, they're just proving to be too hard to push into. Pushing uphill into cogs in even a Darkseer without Wall of Replica is just a challenging thing to do.
At the same time, I am starting to get the sense that it's only stalling the game, not actually turning it around, because they're so tanky. Rising Stars are just so hard to kill. You've got evasion on the Dragon Knight. There's no MKB in sight, so that evasion does come into play. No Scythe of Vice or Chronosphere, anything like that to remove it either. So he's hard to kill. He's got close to 40 armor when Warcry is enabled, if not over it, and the AC's there as well. There's just no easy kills, and they have way more sustained physical damage output in an AoE between Sven Cleave and the Dragon auto attacks. Rattlesnake, they can stall, but can they win the fights? It's maybe with a perfect wall, but even then going to be tough.
For a good 10-15 minutes of the mid game, it looked like Rattlesnake were actually stalling and buying time for their own late game, but the problem is they haven't got their carries items. Weaver and Alchemist needed to be farming during that time, which hasn't happened.
Yeah, you look at the CS charts now, and 188 CS on Alchemist. We've seen Battle Fury Alchemist with like 500 CS at this point when Burning's been playing it. Totally different style, but it does cost you if the game goes late and your safe lane farmer, the Weaver, isn't able to carry the burden. It will be a Heaven's Halberd for that Alchemist. And a nice kind of utility pickup for him, but not a big damage item once again.
The evasion will help especially. The disarmor, you do have BKBs on the Radiant side to help get rid of that, but more than anything, it's, you need some evasion. Sven Cleave can still, of course, bypass that, and Sven, well, he can just keep on farming. He can start looking towards a Daedalus of his own. DK, top lane is farming, and this is the problem. Rattlesnake is something like, okay, we've just got our items now, carry heroes, maybe we can fight, maybe we can win, but then they look over at the Radiant side and say, wait a second, this DK is going to have, maybe they'll click him in a couple minutes, he'll have something like a Heart of Tarrasque. They'll click the Sven, and when he has like something like a crit up, it's going to get really scary, the late game items Rising Stars have. They're going to have 2-3 maxed out heroes soon.
Maelstrom, good split push item, a little bit of utility in terms of the attack speed, can push the lanes out a bit faster. Not a bad pickup. I would have preferred to see something like a Daedalus personally, but or even just a Crystallis, but it's still a decent pickup, and he'll be a higher impact hero in these fights as a result.
Well, Rising Stars, are they actually going to look to push and maybe use this Aegis? They've still got Aegis for 2-3 minutes, so if they want to go for some more towers, now's the time to do so. And with a tier 2 tower on the map, they may as well get this last out of tower. Pushing tier 3 is of course a lot harder, but they'll go for this tier 2.
Look at this siege engine. Sven, like 5 hits, takes the tower out, 2 creep wave auto attacks. That's gone as well.
Yep. They
don't have their full lineup though. Xiao Tuji's actually top lane and going in under cover of Shadowblade. Can he find Luo? That's the question. Who actually popped their Shadowblade first? It was Xiao Tuji, but he gets off the stun on Icy. Now Air's here. He's got the scythe. If they blow him up, this could be trouble. And yes, they do. They can. They will. And if there's not buyback on Weaver, well, there is. But if he has to buy back again, that just really hurts.
Still no Daedalus. This is just a very, very painful game to watch for Weaver. I feel bad for him. Icy has just had a tough time, and the woes continue.
So many stuns, so much initiation that he can't be prepared for, and this was a game where they wanted the Weaver to be split pushing, to constantly keep the pressure out on the lanes, but problem is when you're split pushing at Shadowblade DK, you don't have sentries in the lane, which you're unlikely to have at this point in the game. You're easy pickings.
Yeah, he really is. And now we're going to see that 5-man push coming mid. They're going to force out at least a buyback, and they also want to use up this Aegis for safe scores. Xiao Tuji just doesn't even care about the tower scouting him out. He's just looking for a stun initiation.
Go on me, I dare you. Kabu's going to oblige. Drops the cogs as well as the wall on top of it all. It's a pretty solid wall. Everything vacuumed in. There is so much cleave, though, that they're almost instantly killing off every set of illusions, but maybe it's enough. Xiao Tuji driven back. Your Aegis has expired. Dragon Knight going to come back. Or sorry, not Dragon Knight, but Sven gonna come back.
He's hexed up.
Yeah, he's hexed up. He's taking a lot of damage and has his BKB, does have his God Strength. Can he turn around and take round 2 of this fight? Rattlesnake maybe overextending here. They don't have the back. They don't have the wall. They don't have the God Strength. And Luo still finding kills, but XDD comes back in, goes for the stun. It'll connect, and look at the damage. Luo too fast. He can't get away, but the Mask Command is working against him. It might be enough for Rattlesnake, just outplaying Rising Stars in these fights. They scythe up Icy, but still Sakuchi'd up, able to get out, wants to go back in. They keep on defending, guys. This is getting a little ridiculous. If you're Rising Stars, you're like, man, what do we do?
Yeah, what do they have to do to break in? Aegis on the Sven. Weaver down. He did buy back at the start of that fight, which is once again slowing down his Daedalus. So it's like, once again, you have to ask, what are Rattlesnake actually stalling for? What's their late game plan? Because Alchemist dies, Weaver buys back. This is not looking good for their late game, but the way they hold, they kill off some key heroes, Sven, Visage. It's really looking like they've still got a decent shot, and it seems to be coming from the Darkseer. Darkseer's got the highest net worth. The Scythe of Ice is what sealed Sven's fate. They didn't kill him with it, but they got him low enough so that when he re-engaged, he went down because he didn't have enough HP. And now Darkseer is getting an Aghanim Scepter, the perfect item to go for a late game. If you're making some beefy Sven and DK illusions, well, they're going to be even beefier now with his Aghanim Scepter.
Carry Darkseer. We saw our carry Shadow Demon in the G League Season 2, 2012. Well, it came when he was disrupting Phantom Lancer. Will we see a carry Darkseer being the secret weapon to victory here for Rising Star, or Rattlesnakes rather? We'll find out. Oh man, it's been a long cast, but we're gonna go in now. Top lane, Air, he'll lead the way. He'll scythe up Lamb. There's gonna be a nuke as well. Xiao Tuji coming in with the Shadow Blade, but it's hard to chase these guys, hard to get in range. There's even a Shiva's Guard, but they can't really get in close. They want Kabu. They do stun him in the nick of time, and he will go down. They find a much needed kill. Rising Stars, they are still finding the pickoffs.
Once again, though, they would have much preferred to have killed the Darkseer. Not the hero they wanted. The Scythe of Ice and the Darkseer just essentially did nothing because it was already Surge. He also even got 4 stuff out on top of it, so no damage was done, really. Clockwork being picked off, well, it kind of sucks for Clockwork, but he's just going to wait out the buyback. Rising Stars aren't even using this time where he's dead to accomplish anything.
Oh, they might find another pick mid. This could be bad if Lamb goes down. Nope, Xiao Tuji, not going to go in.
Well, he's had this Maelstrom. Be interesting to see when he gets up. If he goes for the full Mjolnir, it does give him some nice attack speed to go with everything, as well as the Lightning may be a nice way of dealing with the Darkseer illusions. I'm wondering how that'll work.
They have Sven Cleave, they have the Dragon Knight, 100% splash. It seems a little unnecessary to me, but it does give you the attack speed and the damage. So go in top lane now, or mid lane. They'll work on the racks, and this time, Global's online, Wall's online as well. They need that combo, though. It'll start with the Scythe on Xiao Tuji. Now the Wall thrown out as well. He does get 4-step down. The vacuum's there. Is it going to be enough? Air jumping in on Luo, but he is searched away. And both teams going to reset, reload, and back off. But this time around, oh, hook in from Kabu. Scratch that thought. We're not done just yet. Lua wants to join the party as well. Xiaotuji cleaving his way through everybody. So much damage. Now XTD wants to show off his big bad sword. And at long last, Rattlesnake out of gas, out of options, overwhelmed in the base. No buybacks really available.
That vacuum into the wall. This could be it to hold. Nope, the illusions get completely torn to pieces. The Elder Dragon giving the AoE damage needed, and now Lamb. He's caught up by a DK stun. This will be the end of him. You've got to imagine he's got a buyback, but he doesn't. Even after all these kills, all the action, it's a complete team wipe. Raxus will fall. Mid Raxus thrown. Bottom, top Raxus. Rising Stars can have it all if they want.
They're going to start off this group stage 1-0. They're going to take down Rattlesnake here 2-1. And Rattlesnake, a team that I think most people would have given a slight edge, especially after the International 3 Eastern qualifiers. They did secure that trip to Seattle, but they lose this game. They're 0-2 in the Dota 2 Super League. They've got DK and Orange waiting for them. It's not unlikely that Rattlesnake gets knocked out here in the group stage.
Yeah, it's looking very, very worrisome. They haven't called the GG yet here, but it's more than over in my eyes. Their 3 core heroes all dead. Clockwork going to try hook and install, but there we go. Sag calls a GG. Clockwork just saying, I'm just going to do some, stat padding to his death count.
Yeah, Kabu, what can he do? He wants to throw in a hook here or there, but it's going to be Mega Creeps. The GGs come out. Rising Stars, still a pretty unknown team in the Chinese scene, just in terms of they don't have as many big flashy names as teams like even Rattlesnake. They've got, Lamb, Kabu, more well-known players, but putting together a win here and showing that the Chinese scene, they're getting some fresh blood into it now. You look at Vici Gaming with CTY, Rising Stars in particular, a lot of up-and-coming players, some with experience, but certainly not all of them as premier players. It's an exciting time for China because some of the old guard has been struggling. IG's been struggling, DK's been struggling. It's good to see that there's fresh blood having some success.
I think that's actually been the big story of the last week or two, where you look at the international qualifiers, the G1 League. Some of these big star players, the carry players, have actually been struggling. Zhou has not been playing well. ZSMJ, nothing really spectacular, amazing. And then the other big player to me who hasn't stood out is Burning. These carry players are suddenly looking not like the legends that they build up to be.
Maybe it's the version. We'll see if the new patch 6.78 shakes things up, but Rising Stars, they're 1-0 in the group. LGD, they dropped to 1-1 today, so a good start for Rising Stars. Guys, looking at this Group B the rest of the way, we have quite a few matches coming up. We'll have a break until June 6th. We'll have more matches then, but I'm curious, what are your thoughts? Who do you think we're going to see coming out of this group? DK 1-0, Orange have yet to play, but based on what you've seen so far, how do you think things are going to shake out?
Rattlesnake are gone in my eyes. DK played amazingly today. They completely crushed LG International. To me, the challenge is going to come. It's a fight for, second and third place. You probably see DK advancing. Then it's LG International, Orange, and Rising Stars fighting over second and third place. I think LG International, they looked really bad today, but I think they're a team who they'll beat Rising Stars, and I think they match up okay against Orange. As for third place, Rising Stars, Orange, I don't know. It's anyone's guess. What are your thoughts? I
mean, you say they match up well against Orange, and I think on paper they do, just because if they can have that fast start. Orange isn't the most polished team in the laning stage. That's what LGD want. That's right in their wheelhouse. But you look at the record between these two teams, and I think Orange has mostly crushed them. Go back to the GST Challenge. LGDN has struggled in the past. It's been a tough matchup for them. So I think on paper, just in terms of the way the two teams play, I agree with you. I like LGDN. But when you look at the history, Orange has mostly been taking the wins.
Yeah, I think Orange, and we talk about this back in G1, like Orange are a team who always find a way to go through. Yeah. They'll get second or third place in like every single tournament.
They're always invited to the wedding, but it's always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Well, if history goes to show, they're going to get second or third place. Probably LG International in that second or third place as well. Right. But Rising Stars, I mean, they're the team to look out for. They're true to their name. They are the Rising Stars. If they can cause one upset, they'll sneak through, and that means one of those two teams will miss out.
Guys, thank you for joining us today. That concludes today's Dota 2 Super League coverage. Congratulations to Rising Stars. They are off to a hot start here, 1-0 in the group. They take down Rattlesnake, and DK off to a hot start as well. Two teams 1-0 now in Group B. We'll show you the group standings once they get sorted in a little bit. But that concludes today's broadcast. We will be taking a break from our Dota 2 Super League coverage until June 6th. We'll return then with more action. But for now, it's going to be LD and Gods signing off.